Mansfield in the morning.
But after the message last night, more than ever I feel that we as citizens in this country are going to need to work together to rebuild. And so I'm going to be looking at teams today and how teams thrive, because I think we're going to need to work together as teams. And I'll be looking at a study that was done by Google, so it's teams in the workplace, but I feel that it also applies within our smaller circles, our family circles and so on. So I'll be looking across the board at how these 5 things that Google found can impact on all of us and help us to work better together as teams. So Google did this research project. They looked at teams consisting of between 3 to 50 members across the world, across the globe, with varying degrees of seniority. And they dubbed the project Project Aristotle because the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And I think we're going to really need this in South Africa for us to rebuild. So much to their surprise, the effectiveness of the team had nothing to do with IQ or size of the team or any of those things. But there were 5 things that came out. Number 1, psychological safety. That was number 1 across the board. Teams worked much more effectively if the people felt safe and if they felt they could trust their team members. So a lot was based on how much risk they felt they were being exposed to if they asked questions, or if they suggested something new, would they be ridiculed for it, or were people actually listening, or could they own up to a problem without fear of being fired, perhaps. So in the workplace, I feel that's obvious, that you need to feel safe in order to thrive. In a family, it's even more essential. It's an intimate relationship with people, and even if you're single, you will have an extended family of some sort. And people need to know that they are safe to be their true selves, that they're not going to be judged for that they're not going to be judged when they make suggestions, that they're not going to be judged by the way they look or dress or behave. They need to know that they're safe there to express how they actually feel. It's especially about feelings. And if you don't, then the person never actually gets to know who you are, and you make yourself small. It's not who you really are. So that's psychological safety, and I think that's across the board. We all need to feel safe. Dependability was the next one, Jeremy, and this is for you. You were saying, what can men do? You can be dependable. And I'm not joking about that. I think men are dependable in a way in the relationship. So in a team, you need to be able to rely on the other to complete the task that they say they're going to do, so that you don't have to micromanage everyone. In a relationship, you need to be able to depend on the person to do what they say they will do. You need to be able to depend on them to be there for you, actually. So dependability was the second one. The third one was structure and clarity. Do all members of the team understand the long and short-term goals and how it fits in with the overall goal of the team? Again, that's fairly clear in terms of the workplace. In family and relationships, I looked at it differently and I said, do you express your expectation to the other person? Do they know what it is that you're expecting in this relationship? And that is huge. For me, in all counseling that I do, I find that's absolutely huge, because we assume the other person knows what we expect. We assume the other person knows what we need, but it's not always true. And I think it takes courage then to express yourself and say, this is what I would like to see. I saw a movie once where people talked about their highs and lows every day. I think as a family, in those groups, we need to be able to do that. What's good for you? What's working for you? How are you feeling? And you need to be psychologically safe enough to be able to say how you're feeling. So express yourself. And then meaning. People needed to get personal fulfillment from their workplace, and we need it obviously in our roles in our homes with other people. We need to know that we're heard, appreciated, feel that we're contributing. Even children, I find, need to feel that they're contributing. And the last thing was impact. Do you feel that your work makes a difference? And again, at home, do you feel that you're making a difference? Or do you feel unappreciated? And I know particularly for me, I took a few years off to raise my children. That was the hardest time for me. It's wonderful to be at home with the kids. It's wonderful to be contributing in that way, but you don't feel appreciated. I found it very difficult to just stay at home. I needed the stimulus of other people and work and so on. But it was wonderful. So I'm not saying it was the wrong thing, and I wouldn't, if I had to do it again, I would still do it.
Well, prepared you for lockdown.
But it's hard. So what impact are you making? People need to feel they make an impact. And so when we're working in teams, we need to make sure that we appreciating the people in those teams and letting them know, giving them feedback, and letting them know how they are contributing so that we can all work together. Because what Google found was those teams that had that didn't just thrive, they outperformed all the other teams, and they were happy. and committed and wanting to come to work. So that's what we want moving forward in South Africa, I think. So those are the 5 things: psychological safety, dependability, structure and clarity, meaning and impact. So with that in mind, I'm going to leave you to think about it for the day. Enjoy your day.
Thank you,
Thank
Reverend
you.
Shona.
Here it comes! It's Mansfield in the morning. Driven by Sandown Motors, your Mercedes-Benz partner. On